about texting and driving, and so I do various things like that. Cindy is with our AAA office in Concord, and she's in insurance. She's also quite versed on membership, travel, and a lot of the other things that AAA does. A lot of people aren't aware of what AAA really does. How many of you are AAA members? Okay. Do you know about Show Your Card and Save?
You know what?
Show your card and save.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I'll talk to groups and they have no clue that you can get all these discounts with that AAA card. So go, if you're not a member, go to our website, check it out. We just came out with a new program called AAA Rewards, which is an exciting new thing with getting points, etc., buying in hundreds of different places and that kind of thing. But what we also do is we do a lot of safety. We do our AAA Foundation does a lot of research on safety issues that are out there on the roadway, and we produce a lot of brochures, informational brochures, best practice brochures for what we can do to keep the general public safe out there on the roadways. And as you can see, these are just a couple of the ones that we have, but these are the ones that Betty asked that we speak about this evening. What to do when your car breaks down. It's a pretty inclusive brochure. There's a lot that goes along with it. I'm going to go over briefly over some of the really important things. But I will tell you that this evening you have heard probably the most important thing, or some of the most important things. Know your car. If you know your car, if you do preventive maintenance, if you keep your tires checked on a regular basis, if you keep gas in your tank, then you're not going to break down. How many of you actually carry an emergency kit in your car? Okay. Those of you that don't, why don't you?
When you say emergency kit, what do you?
When we say an emergency kit, we're saying a lot of different things. We're talking about a flashlight. We're talking about a blanket, extra warm clothing. We're talking about a first aid kit. We're talking about things like kitty litter, water, those kinds of things. And actually on the back of this, we actually have a checklist of things that you should put in your car in case you break down. Triangles, emergency devices to let people know that your car is broken down. A lot of times when I do classes, what people will say to me, well, I don't go that far. I don't go. Exactly. The statistics are 80% of traffic crashes happen within 25 miles of home. We have the safety zone. We ride the same places every day, and we go the same roads. So we have this preconceived notion that nothing's going to happen to us, so we're really close to home. But it's really important because something could happen very close to home. So what we want to do is we want you to understand that we have to take those preventative measures when we're in our cars, no matter how far we're going. We need those things to keep us safe. So how many of you have ever broken down? Okay, so what happened?
I called AAA.
You called AAA.
Good answer.
Good answer. That's the right answer. That is the right answer, and that's a good thing to hear. Glad to hear that. Who else is?
I called the police.
Okay.
I called the AAA and the police.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
I broke down when it was 20 below and I had to thumb a ride.
Oh.
It was not pleasant. Luckily, a nice person stopped.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have one of those big signs that you put on the back of your car that says call police, so
Yeah.
they can't miss
If
it.
you don't have a cell phone, right. You know what the most important thing is? The most important thing is to be prepared. We need to understand what we're going to do if our cars break down. We need to think about that. We need to think about, where am I? Where am I? Can I, if I needed to call, if I broke down on the side of the road somewhere and I need to call AAA, could I tell them where I am?
Yeah, that's the trouble I have with my 20-year-old, telling her she needs to know the street numbers and the routes that she's traveling, because you just can't say to the AAA, I'm broken down on the road to Concord.
Right. Exactly.
called and said, I'm broken down in the chiropractor's parking lot.
That's where you were, and that's a good. But those are some of the things that we don't think about. We spend so much time in our cars. We just have gotten very, very complacent, and we forget what we're doing. We spend an average an hour and 15 minutes in our cars every day. At 65 years old, you know, the average woman spends 3 years of her life in her car. Think about it. We do. We just get in it, and we do it every single day, so we become complacent about it. We need to, when we're traveling, we need to know where we are. We need to keep an eye on what location, in case something happens, we'll be able to tell people where we are. We also need to have a plan. Do you carry a cell phone? Is your cell phone charged? Yeah. And this is a great case for, you know, keeping gas in your car, especially now where gas prices are so bad. A lot of us, and I think that's my worst problem in my car is I always tend to let the gas go down, and that's not a good thing to do, because why do I want to run out of gas somewhere when it's not necessary? So those are the things we need to think about. Keep our gas tank filled all the time. So then we want to know where we are. We want to plan routes. We want to plan and let people know where we're going. Let somebody know today I'm taking a trip and I'm going to take a ride up to Freeport, Maine. That's where I came from.
Nice
I'm going to take, it is a nice place. I'm going to take a ride up to Freeport. Tell people where you're going. How many of you have GPS? How many of you just love your GPS system? Okay, so how many of you have stopped doing triptychs or stopped carrying maps or stopped looking for directions, knowing the directions before you go?
Well, I always call and get the triptychs
I do too.
and the maps. I've already got my maps for my September vacation.
Exactly. I work in Portland. I left Portland today. I have a GPS in my car, but I have a triptych in my car because I don't want to just rely on that GPS. What if it takes me somewhere I'm not really comfortable with?
Well, and the triptychs tell you where there's construction.
Triptychs will tell you where there is construction. Planning ahead is really important. Triptychs is basically, if you go to the AAA website, it will map out the route for you. Like if you go to the AAA website, it'll say driving, and it'll go driving directions, and you press it says get started, and it'll go where are you going. So I punched in 68 Marginal Way, and I was coming to 55 Beeson Road in Laconia, New Hampshire. And it mapped out the route for me, and I printed it off my computer. And so I have and it tells you take a left here, take a right here, go 0.9 miles. It's similar to, what was the one that used to be really popular? MapQuest. It's very similar to that. And you print it off, and so you have that, so that it gives you an idea of where to go, but it also will tell you if there's any construction. It'll give you the estimated time that it's going to take you to get there.
Now, do you need AAA to use?
No, you do not. You do not need AAA to go to the AAA website and get triptych. No.
We did every year when we would drive to Florida and do the Blue Ridge Mountain, and each page of the triptych would tell you the towns there and you know
And
distance.
if any of you have smartphones, we have it on. It's an app. So if you have a smartphone, you can get a AAA app that will actually do a GPS for you, and it'll tell you where the hotels are, where the gas stations are, any of those kinds of things.
Maria, is that a free app? I know I
Yeah, it's
downloaded
free.
it. I thought it was.
Yep, the AAA apps are free.
Is it also for iPads?
Yes. Oh, no, wait a minute. Can I get it?
I think the Droid. I have a Droid, and I did it on my Droid.
I have it on my iPhone. I'm not sure if that's for the iPad yet or not. Okay. So those are some of the things that are really important. The other thing that's important is assess your problem. So if you're going to call AAA, you need to be able to sort of give them an idea of what might be wrong with your car. Are you going to need gas? Is your car smoking? Any of those kinds of things. Try to get a sense of what may be happening. But basically, it's alerting other motorists. You know, if your car is on a corner somewhere, you want to be visible, so you need to set out those triangles. You need to let people know you're there. Use your hazard lights. The other thing is nowadays we have to be careful too. We have to be cautious. You know, if somebody pulls up and says, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll help you out. Do you want to get out of your car?" and say, "Oh yeah, okay." No. You know, one of the recommendations basically is if you stay in your car, unless you're in a really dangerous situation, you're going to get hit by another car, or you're not far enough off the road, that kind of thing, you probably want to stay in your car. And if someone does approach your car, simply don't roll down the window. Simply ask for their name, information if you're gonna go with them, and leave that information in your car, or ask them to call the police or call for help. But so we have to be smart about those things, and we have to really think about it. But being prepared is going to keep us safe, and that's what it's about. Don't go out there and just, you know, like I said, an empty gas tank and no triangles and no flashlights or no warm clothes or any of those kinds of things. And you'll be prepared. Know where you are, and you can be much better prepared if you do break down. So there's a lot in the brochure. I just am trying to cover this quickly because I have to get to the distracted driving one and our texting one. So there's a lot in here that goes over basically some of the things that we just covered. And again, the maintenance is huge. Maintenance of your car is a huge part of staying safe. You're not going to break down if your car is properly maintained.
Well, if you call AAA for service, do you get a person or do you get a computer that's asked you questions?
Oh no, you get a person. You get a person. We have a call center that goes 24/7.
The last time I did my Hyundai one, I got a machine that was interpreting what I was saying.
Right. And some of the new cars do come with roadside assistance, and you know those are. I'm not going to say they're bad or anything. They're great. I mean, if you have roadside assistance, but I will tell you, with AAA, the card goes with the person. So if you have AAA and you're with your friend and their car breaks down, you call AAA. And you will get AAA. It's not the car. With the roadside assistance with the new cars, it's the car specific, correct? Right. It's specifically that car. So if you're with somebody else, you're not going to get, you're not going to get any assistance. So that is one thing about AAA. But you are going to get a person. You're going to get a person in dispatch that will get a truck out to you. They'll ask you questions. They'll ask you where are you? What do you think is wrong with it? They will give you an estimated time. You can also, the smartphones have a text now, where you can actually text. I hate to admit this, but I had to call AAA when I was in Augusta a few weeks ago, and I had to call AAA, and they texted me saying that, he was on his way, it was going to be about 5 minutes, whatever. So those are, a lot of the technology is there too. Okay? So does anybody have any questions about that specific? And again, there's some really good pointers in here. I just touched on a few of them. So I want to now just talk a little bit about distracted driving. Huge problem. We hear about it all the time. The statistics are showing that about half of the people on the road now are driving distracted. We need to remember that when we're driving, we're already multitasking. We are already maneuvering through traffic. We're already having to adjust speed. If you have a standard shift, you're shifting already. So you're already multitasking. The more things you add to that, the more risk you are at of getting into a crash. Right now, the statistics for texting, and we have the new texting brochure, the statistics for texting, it is worse than being drunk, and your crash rate goes up 23 times. 23 times you're more likely to be involved if you are texting on the road. Okay? The thing is, distracted driving is about cell phones. It's about eating. It's about drinking. It's about passengers in your car, conversations. It's about turning the radio. It's about doing a lot of different things. A lot of the states, New Hampshire is one and Maine is another, we have distracted driving laws specifically to cover the so many different aspects of distracted driving. We have 3 different types of distracted driving, which is the visual, something visually distracts us from our driving. We have the cognitive, and we have the physical. And texting, the reason why texting is such an issue right now is because it's all three. It's all three. One of the, when I did the students over there in Manchester, we were partnering with AT&T, and if you close your eyes for 5 seconds, which is how long you're distracted with your texting, you've gone the length of the football field, blind. So it's a real serious problem. It really is. Talking on our cell phones, we're not paying attention to what we're doing, and that's what the AAA Foundation just did a new study with MIT, and what they're doing is the cognitive. And think about how many times you're driving here and there, wherever, to the post office, to the grocery store, to work and back, that you don't even remember, because you're thinking about, oh, what am I going to be doing for supper? Oh, I have to call my friend. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. And we don't even remember where we've been. So what if we missed? We could have missed a ball coming out into the street. We could have missed a lot of different things. So we really have to get that mindset back to the fact that we need to be driving. And driving takes our attention, 100% of it. So we have to start focusing on, I need to be driving. What would I do if my car broke down? What would I do if a car came speeding around the corner? We have people that stop at railroad. We have a problem in Maine, and I'm sure you probably have it here, is that there'll be a red light down there, and the cars will back up, and there's a railroad crossing here, and people will put their car on the tracks. Anybody see that around here?
I have.
We don't.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenon in Maine. They do it like every place. And you think, what is wrong? And part of it is we've stopped seeing. We're looking at stuff, but we are not seeing. We are not paying attention when we're driving. So we're not seeing those railroad crossings. We're not seeing that we're sitting on railroad tracks because our minds are someplace else. So we need to refocus on that. How many of you have young kids? Give her 2 text bands. How many kids do you have?
I have 1 and then 2 half ones.
I got 2.
You got to get some extra text bands there. Because the younger generation, they've grown up with these cell phones. A lot of us remember when you just went home to get your phone calls. Remember? Because we didn't have that instant communication. But these kids are so 24/7. The other thing, yeah.
What about party lines?
Oh, I remember that too.
Few of us remember that.
Absolutely, party lines. And I drove a school bus in a past life, and my emergency communication was a piece of paper, a pencil, and 2 5th graders. So that's how far back I am.
Can I add something real quick?
Sure.
Automakers today, they're also coming out with new technology where you can actually control what your teenagers do in your car. You can set the speed, you can set so the volume of the radio can only go so. You can track them. I mean, you can make sure. I mean, there's just so much that I'll let you.
There is, and actually, AAA has one. It's called AAA On Board. And Cindy does have some brochures out there on it, and it's free to anyone that has AAA insurance. And it's a pilot project we're doing. And basically what we're using it for is to get the young kids experience. The young drivers, they don't have experience, and that's why they're crashing. We need them to get more experience. So what it does is it sets boundaries. So it sets boundaries where your student can be driving. If you say, okay, you can only go here, here, and there, and you can't go to the Red Sox game in Boston, and they decide they're going to go to the Red Sox game in Boston, you're going to get a text or an email saying your student is out of bounds.
That's great.
It doesn't shut off the phones yet, but there are, I have heard that there is technology coming out that will shut off their cell phones when they get in the car.
Jason's a little bumped by
Yeah.
all this.
Can we keep this quiet?
The other thing that it does is it will, if you know that your child is going to be in a certain area, that the speed limit the highest speed limit they should be going is 55, you set the device at 55. So if at any time they go over that, you get a text, or an email, or a phone call, however you choose to do it.
See, my daughter opts for me to drive because it would be less of a fine if I got caught speeding than if she got caught speeding.
So there is a lot of technology out there, and I know AT&T or someone I know, maybe it might be Verizon, I'm not sure, one of them has a voice message that says, "I'm sorry, I can't come to the phone right now, I'm driving."
Nice.
So there's more because it is a problem. So when you get in your car, think about all the different things that distract you and get rid of them one by one by one. You know, preset your radio. Make sure that your glasses are here, your sunglasses are there, and not in your bag over there. Just all those little things that you notice might be distracting you when you're driving down the highway. Shut off the cell phone. But you don't want to, we tell kids to shut off their cell phones and put them in the back, but the other night I was talking, I was doing a class and someone said, well, I want my cell phone next to me in case of an emergency, which is absolutely true. So shut it off. You know, put it in the little glove next to you.
Do you know though, when I said I called the police, it was because I was hit by a car. My cell phone bounced out of that little cup into the back seat with my glasses, which came right off my head. So there has to be something else that you can put your phone safer than that. That it will. I think your pocket is the better place to put it if you've got pockets,
Right.
because that way it's squeezed in here. And if you're in an accident, your phone could go anywhere. And then if you're trapped in your car, you're not going to find it if it's floating through the car someplace and you're wedged in that front seat.
Right. That's a great point. Right. Secure it somewhere where it's close by so that you can get it. But the point is, shut it off so that you're not going to answer it if it rings. Because let's face it, we all know what happens. How many of us can really, really listen to a phone ring? No, we can't do it. It's hard. It's hard. It's very hard. But those are things we need to think about when we're out there driving. But the most important thing I think I want to leave you with is the fact that driving is basically a full-time job, and we all need to get back to the basics of driving. And we need to understand that there are traffic laws for a reason. One of the things that the foundation is doing now is called traffic safety culture. And it's everybody knows what the laws are, but everybody's breaking them.
I got a comment. You were talking about if you're out on the road to make sure you know where you are. When I was growing up and my mom and sister and I were traveling, she would always have us pinpoint a certain thing in each little town that we went through. That's how we learned how to get from here to my grandparents up north. If you went by this certain building or whatever, you knew you were on the right road. I did that with my son, and I still do it today.
Absolutely.
You know, because like if you go by such and such, you know you're on the right road.
Exactly.
Like if we go to the ocean, there's a house that we used to watch get built on the way, and they had a tree across the street that they decorated every year for whatever holiday it was. You go by that tree on the ground and it's decorated, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
And I still use that today.
That's great, and that's a really good way to do it.
I still get lost.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, we have kids in driving school that the parents will have driven them and they don't even pay any attention. We had one mother that called us one day and was in a panic because her daughter was going to drive home with the instructor. She didn't know how to get home. The mother, honestly, the mother had to call us and give us directions. You know, we need to do those things. We need to get into the habit of paying attention to where we are and what we're doing. Okay? So I gave you the three. Everybody have their text band?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Anybody want an extra text band? We might have a few extras. Okay, Cindy. Do you have some extra ones? Okay. So these are just three of the ones we have. Again, AAA, I work public affairs, traffic safety. I'm in Portland, but if you call the AAA number, if you have any questions ever about anything, please give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you out. We do have defensive driving classes, refresher classes. So those we also have available to if anybody's interested in taking those. Okay? Well, thank you very much.
I wanted to mention that Maria does have a table set up with some extra brochures. You may have some, again, for family members.